Game 2 from Tucson coming your way. It's a battle of Northeastern rivals, the New York Red Bulls and the New England Revolution in the Desert Diamond Cup. Coming up next. Good evening, Jonathan Yardley and Greg Lawless with you. Glad you're joining us on your Saturday night, wherever you might be listening and watching tonight. The New York Red Bulls and the New England Revolution meeting in Game 2 of our doubleheader. In the opener, it was Seattle beating Real Salt Lake 2-1. And the Sounders locking up their spot in the final of the Desert Diamond Cup. If either of these teams can get a win in today's second game, it would go a long way toward making them the Sounders' opponent. Greg, we saw both of these teams on Wednesday night. New England losing 2-0 to Seattle. New York falling behind Real Salt Lake 2-0, then rallying for a 2-2 tie. Who showed better on Wednesday, and what do they have to prove tonight?
Well, I think that New York showed better on Wednesday, not just because of the result, but they showed that when they are playing, they're going to create a lot of chances. Because although they gave up 2 early goals, after that they took over the game in the possession style that they played through the midfield. We were talking to Dax McCarty yesterday about it, and he said, look, this is a good team, and you saw it out there on Wednesday. So, you know, if they can continue to do that, they're going to have a lot going for them going into the season. The Revolution, on the other hand, you know, they didn't quite create the chances that they really needed to. Donnie Smith, when he came in as a sub in the second half, he looked lively and almost sparked them to try to come back against Seattle a little bit late in the game. But in the beginning of it, they didn't really seem to show as much as I think they have. Jerry Bengtson is the man who needs to show the most for the Revolution in this game, on Wednesday, on Saturday, and as the season starts.
We'll get a look at him tonight. But we start with New York, and on Wednesday night they went down 2-0. Pulled one back through Jamison Olave off a corner at the back post, tapping one in. And then Michael Bustamante putting the finishing touches on a great team buildup.
This is a good ball in from Roy Miller to find Bustamante alone in the middle, but it's actually Rafinha who was the one who sets him up on the ball. Good teamwork from New York, and that was in the second half when they had some of the lesser players in there, if you will, the non-regular starters.
We turn to the lineup for the New York Red Bulls. Luis Robles had a sore back the other day. He's an Arizona guy. Gets the start in goal. The back four, Kimura at right back, Olave and Pierce in the middle, Miller at left back. Central midfield, Eric Alexander listed as a holding player alongside Tim Cahill, who we know loves to get forward. Josue Martinez wide right, Fabian Espindola wide left. Juninho in the middle. We'll see where he ends up. And Thierry Henry up front. Very strong group, but a couple of changes from Wednesday.
A strong group. Dax McCarty not in there. He's got a little bit of tightness in one of his in the muscle on his right leg, so they're holding him out. A couple of coaches' decisions to see what some of these players can bring, in particular Kimura, Miller on the left, and also a little bit from Alexander to see a little bit what he can do.
I don't think of Eric Alexander as a holding player, so it's interesting to see him in that, quote, holding role.
He looked better as a holding player on Wednesday than he did when he was out wide, I thought.
Right. Switching over to the New England Revolution again, lost 2-0 to Seattle on Wednesday. Matt Reese was really under the weather earlier this week. They quarantined him from the rest of the team. He's back in there. The back four, Andrew Farrell again at right back, AJ Soares, Jose Gonçalves in the middle. Darius Barnes gets a look at left back tonight. In the midfield, Wynn on the right, Sims and Cisse again in the middle. Hopefully we see Clyde Sims for a little bit longer tonight. And Donnie Smith, your boy, gets the start on the left. We'll see. This is a big test for him, trying to earn a contract. Up front, Jerry Benson, the big Honduran, and the feisty little guy, Diego Fagundes. They've played together before, and you want to see more from Benson.
Yeah, I just think that in general, Bengtson needs to start scoring goals. He had a pretty good chance to score a goal the other night against Seattle, and he didn't put it away. And that's, he scores goals for Honduras. Everyone likes to talk about this. Now he needs to show it at the club level. And you're right about Fagundes. He is feisty. He's got a lot of skill, had a decent shot on goal against Seattle, but he wasn't, forced to save. Didn't end up scoring, but it's a combination that could really work well if it starts to, when it starts to click, basically, as they start to get to know each other a little bit better as teammates.
The interesting thing about Benson is when I've watched him play for Honduras, seems like 80% of his goals are tap-ins into an empty net after Mario Martinez, Boniek Garcia, Carlo Costly set him up. He's going to be a goal scorer, but he needs help.
But he has help. You look at Lee Wynn, and the other day Jay Heaps told me that for this team really to go, Lee Wynn has to be on his game. That's what because I asked him, I said, which player is it for the Revolution that is the make-or-break player in a way? And he refused to actually say, this is a make-or-break. But what he did say is that when Lee Wynn is on his game, the entire team clicks. And so that's it's a lot of pressure, but it's also looking at a player with a lot of skill and a lot of ability to say, look, you are the man now. You have to make this team run.
A lot of things to watch for on the New England side. And we go back to our first game earlier today. Take a look at where we are in the tournament. This goal from Mario Martinez, a rocket from outside the area. We never get tired of watching that one.
We've seen that one before. We saw him do it in the playoffs last year.
Put Seattle up 1-0. They made it 2-0 when Osvaldo Alonso broke down the right side of the box. And it wasn't quite that fast, but Philip Lund did score on the rebound.
And a good celebration. Let's look at it again. We bring it back, and it's Alonso with the shot. And the rebound put away by Philip Lund, a trialist in from Denmark. And he makes a name with a goal.
Leave it for the dance.
And he makes a name with his little dancing. Kind of a Danish jig of some sort. I don't know. And then a little Macarena. He's got all kinds of things going on in there.
And then Real Salt Lake did pull a goal back from the rookie John Sturzer as this one fell to him from Kari Stevenson's shot.
And Sturzer composed in the middle, right in the front. He beats Josh Ford pretty easily to the left side. Good. That's what you want to see from Sturzer. Real Salt Lake actually owned the game down the stretch. They were moving the ball very, very well.
So Seattle went to 2-0 with the win. They will play in the final on Saturday. Real Salt Lake now 0-1-1. And again, coming into this game, the Red Bulls 0-0-1 and New England 0-1. Both teams looking to get their first W of the tournament. Jonathan Yardley and Greg Lawless with you here in Tucson, but there is action from Major League Soccer going on around the country, from Las Vegas to Jacksonville last night, and then earlier today in Orlando, and still going on right now in Charleston, South Carolina, and also in Orlando. Scores last night: Chivas USA trace Colorado Rapids Cerro at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. Eric Avila, Juan Agudelo, and Jose Correa all scoring for Chivas USA. Up the goats.
Beware El Chelis. That's all I'm going to say. I've said it on Twitter a couple times. Beware El Chelis.
You told me that there was a scoreless tie in Jacksonville between Philadelphia and Montreal. That's correct.
Yep.
Earlier today, Montreal, using different squad players for the most part, tied DC United 1-1. Andrea Pisanu scoring for Montreal. Kyle Porter for DC. Both good goals. You can catch those highlights on MLSsoccer.com later tonight. That means Montreal will play in the final of the Disney Pro Soccer Classic. Philadelphia handled Toronto 3-0. Goals from Antoine Hapano, Roger Torres, and Matt Castle. And then the game that was going on simultaneous to our opener, Columbus beat Orlando 3-2. Columbus goes 3-0 in the group play. They'll play Montreal in the tournament final. Goals from Agustin Viana, Josh Williams, and a late penalty from Federico Higuain, giving Columbus the win over Orlando City. Goals from Jamie Watson and Brian Ficchetti. Now the big news for Columbus, though, Chad Marshall left the game injured. Don't have a further update on that, but it's a worrisome sign for Crew fans. And then going on right now, the Tampa Bay Rowdies taking on Sporting Kansas City. Teams walking out right here: Thierry Henry and Arizona native Luis Robles leading the Red Bulls out. And on the other side, you see New England, Clyde Sims again wearing the captain's armband with Matt Reese.
I like Sims. He wants to get out there. He's like dragging his little companion with him, like pulling him along to say, let's go, man. Referees are sprinting in front of him anyway.
He didn't get the full minutes the other night. Other games in Charleston today: Chicago beat Houston 3-2. And Vancouver already leading Charleston 2-0. 2 goals from Kakuta Mane, who has been very impressive this preseason. We saw him set up some goals when Vancouver beat New England earlier. Today, he's already got 2 goals in the first 30 minutes. Finally, the Portland tournament gets underway tomorrow with AIK Solna taking on FC Dallas and the Timbers taking on the San Jose Earthquakes. MLSsoccer.com can direct you to the broadcasts of all of these various preseason games. Teams are out here in Tucson, and good turnout tonight. Fans grouped right in front of us near the halfway line, off in the what would be the right field stands at this ballpark, behind the goal to our right. And they've also got bleachers set up at the halfway line on the far side, and a little hospitality tent over there as well, where they've probably got some good snacks. So certainly a good turnout tonight.
You want to go get a snack? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying I wouldn't mind if someone brought me a snack. I will not be shirking my duties to get food. But I was
thinking there might be a Sonora dog or two brought over at some point. maybe at halftime we can run and go get a Sonora dog. Do you know what a Sonora dog is?
I have seen it, but I have not. I don't know everything that's in it.
It is something very special in these
I thought
parts.
Sonora was in New Mexico.
I think one of our camera guys, Albert, actually had a Sonora dog the other day when we went to dinner.
Thumbs up or thumbs down for a
Sonora dog?
Sonora
the Sonora dog? A thumbs up from Albert on the Sonora dog. It's for all of you people who are listening and have no idea what I'm talking. Look it up. And next time you're down in Arizona, in southern Arizona, go and get yourself one.
Jonathan Yardley and Greg Lawless with you in Tucson. And a reminder, you can hit us up on Twitter. Use @JTYardley. And send us your questions, comments, concerns, suggestions about what else is good to eat besides a Sonora dog. And I think Corey Rockwell won the sprint to the goal between the linesmen.
Doing a little sprint from half field to go and check the goals.
I'm afraid I didn't
They don't usually sprint. I think we might be a little bit behind on the timeline here, but they're just trying to get things going.
Got the full Carmina Burana treatment here for preseason.
Amazing. Build the drama.
Heroes and villains. We may see some. Thierry Henry and Fabian Espindola standing over the ball for New York. These two teams very familiar with each other. New England eliminated New York in the playoffs 3 times in 5 years, 2003, 2005, 2007. New England leads the all-time series 29-22-15 in all competitions. And they'll meet 3 times this year, April 20th at Red Bull Arena, May 11th at Gillette Stadium, October 5th at Red Bull Arena. February 16th here, and we're underway between the New York Red Bulls and the New England Revolution in Tucson. And right away, New York, which gave up a goal in 20 seconds on Wednesday night, tries to play long. And this time, Jose Gonçalves successfully escorts it over the line for a New England goal kick. The Revolution in the traditional navy blue. The Red Bulls in the white jerseys, red shorts, and white socks.
Good test up top for New York to put on this back line for New England.
Jamison Olave with the header. Darius Barnes getting the call. We've seen him at center back in his MLS career, but pushed outside a little bit last year and gets the start at left back today. Still has that long throw in. He started to run into it there. He took about 20 yards on the run-up.
Despite being told that New York would play a semi 4-5-1, it does look like it's just another 4-4-2 with Thierry Henry and Fabian Espindola up top.
Josue Martinez, who expected to be that third forward, is out wide on the right. I talked to Mike Petke, and he told me he's not a big formation numbers guy.
Man after my own heart.
I know. I knew you would
go out there and play. Put a 4-4-2 and go and play.
Well, he said he didn't want to quite just roll the balls out and play, but you can sense the confidence in the New York camp that their forwards will score and will find the best way to produce. And the real question mark they have is the defense. Here's Roy Miller on the left, who got into the offensive attack on Wednesday.
I don't have as many question marks about the defense. I think that, I thought Holgerson had a very nice season last year, and if he continues that, he'll be fine. If Olave stays healthy, they're great. And I like Barklage as a right back.
Here is Miller again. Struggled with his touch, but kept the ball in. Feeds Tim Cahill in the middle of the field. Juninho once again listed in an attacking role, once again sitting deeper in the midfield.
Not interested. He wants to come back and get the ball and then distribute. He wants to sit back and be a kind of a maestro.
He wants to be a Beckham and spray some long passes.
Which he's done his entire.
Josue Martinez, the Costa Rican, won it for New York. Cahill, early ball for Henry, overhit just a hair, and it rolls to Matt Reese, who pops it up to himself with one touch.
Needed a little bit more loft on that one to really make that fly.
But so Espindola, the high man. Henry is actually wide left, sort of, and Martinez wide right for New York. He breaks up that play. It'll be a throw into New England. Just underway, 4th minute from Tucson. Jonathan Yardley, Greg Lawless with you. Reminder, you can send us your questions on Twitter at JTYardley, or you can contribute to the comments section on YouTube. We're trying to check that as well. Martinez with a missed touch. And now sent long by Kosuke Kimura. Gonsalves in a battle with Espindola and lets it run out. And it'll be a goal kick for Matt Reese. Ricardo Salazar, the referee. Alan Chapman, the fourth official this evening. Corey Rockwell is one linesman, and I'm afraid I don't know the other. They didn't get us names for the second game. Gonsalves drives this one long. It's knocked down by Roy Miller. Khalifa Cisse on it for New England. Battling with Espindola. Cahill came away with it. Here's Miller getting into the attack again on the left for New York. Henry bends it in. Offside flag is up. Espindola and Martinez were breaking in behind the defense. And again, Reese will play early to Donnie Smith. There is no right midfielder. And Juninho and Kosuke Kimura frantically trying to communicate how to deal with this threat of Donnie Smith.
Yeah, and he is a threat since he's been out there. Juninho's shaking his head a little bit about having to make that chase back. But hey, if you're going to be that withdrawn as he's going to be, you have defensive responsibilities.
New England really has a lot of guys towing the back line with Lee Wynn pushing high, Donnie Smith pushing high at the moment. Cisse finds Lee Wynn in space. Lee Wynn, top of the area. Feeds it into Fagundes. Bankson shot saved. The rebound still loose. And whistle blows. It's a foul against Fagundes. Both he and Benson were there, and Benson's shot was the one that Robles saved.
Great movement from the Revolution to move the ball. Mike Petke up off his bench wondering how Lee Wynn floated into so much space and was able to run at the defense the way he did. This is the shot there from Bankson, and then the foul that comes after that from Fagundes. Not much of a foul, really, but it's really coming from the space that Lee Wynn has to operate, and he should not be getting that amount of space in there.
Lee Wynn had a lot of options because he says, you know, I think we're going to be a lot better early in games. We're going to be a lot more disciplined. And I go, Heath, like, what happened Wednesday night? And he's like, yeah, Mike had a few strong words in the locker room at halftime about that. So maybe by having it happen in preseason, it won't happen at all in season.
Perhaps.
That's the hope, at least.
Perhaps, but already up top, Fagundes and Bankson pretty active up top, just moving the ball and getting into dangerous positions.
Here is Benson ahead looking for Fagundes. Olave got a foot in. Gets it away to Martinez. I'm interested to see Fagundes this year. Of course, came into the league so young. He just turned 18. His birthday was the other day, rather. But already his third MLS season. And they said he came in much more fit in the preseason than he has in the past. Cisse battling physically. He's really dwelling on the ball and lost out to Cahill there. 8th minute, no score. New York and New England from Tucson, Arizona. That one broken up by Andrew Farrell at right back with a rare foray forward by Juninho. Farrell won that battle on the far side. He's been good so far, but as soon as I say that, he tries to Cruyff cut back in his own half and loses the ball. And a foul whistle against New York. It will be a free kick to New England.
Tim
Cahill holding on to the ball.
Well, basically just looking at all his players and just saying, let's calm down a little bit, smooth it out a little bit.
AJ Soares restarts to Wynn on the right. Has Farrell running ahead of him. Again, Wynn cuts in, no pressure on him whatsoever. To Fagundes, back to Wynn, tried to return it. Fagundes taken down and the whistle blows. It will be a free kick to New England on the edge of the New York penalty area.
Fagundes trying to play a quick 1-2. I think, Jay Heaps wants to see that kind of thing. He wants to see those quick 1-2s where Fagundes cannot hold on to the ball or else he's going to get crushed.
He has to move it quickly.
He has to move it quickly or the defenses are going to key on him and they're going to crush him. So he needs to move it quickly. With a guy like Wynn, he knows he can play those quick combinations.
Wynn, the only man standing over the ball right now.
And I hope he goes to goal.
Luis Robles has 4 in the wall at the moment.
He has some bodies in some big boys in there. He's got Soares in there, and he's got
Gonsalves, Cisse, Benson. Plays it back post. Barnes is there, keeps it alive, and it's fired over. I think Gonsalves was the one who had the last touch. Cisse was there as well, and they couldn't keep it on target.
Had a very good look there. It ends up actually being a good ball, and Wynn proves me wrong going to the far post with the free kick. Here it is, going to the far post, and it's knocked back across. Well done to get it back across, and the shot just skied up. It bounced on the half volley. He needs to hit the target.
So again, New York, a bit of a slow start. 3 chances for New England earlier.
Watching the national team back in like 2010. So you give up a goal no matter what, or something like that. You know, just start slowly and then try and play.
Reese almost caught in possession, but did well to get it in the direction of Wynn. Tough touch, though. Falls to the top of the box. Here's Juninho. Oh. Juninho with a rip for New York. And the Red Bulls up 1-0.
Now, what's really interesting about this goal is the dummy from Thierry Henry as the ball comes across. And the amazing thing is that he was actually, I think, dummying it for someone else. Here it is. Here's the ball as it comes across, and he's already dummied it. And I think he's actually trying to dummy it for a Spindola, and then everyone runs away, and that opens it up for Juninho. Simple finish. Well, simple finish. A very clean
he made
finish,
it look
tidy
simple.
finish into the lower corner.
I mean, I think you see a guy like Juninho with his pedigree and his ability to strike the ball coming in. There's a pretty good chance he's going to hit that on goal. So New York strikes first, despite New England's chances at the other end, and it's a heck of a blast from Juninho. Here's Tim Cahill on the left-hand side. Little hesitation move on Clyde Sims, who stays right with him. Here's Eric Alexander in the middle of the field to Juninho. He's already been more active today than he was the other night. Henry trying to return the pass, and the run was not what was in Henry's head, but he gets a thumbs up anyway.
Juninho made his run inside when Thierry Henry played the ball up and over outside.
But are you with me? He's done more today in the first 12
well.
minutes.
Yeah, well, of course they're not down 2-0 in the first 12 minutes, so that makes a difference.
That's because he's doing more.
I don't know about that. I just feel like they're spacing. They probably worked on things over the last couple of days. We know they worked on stuff to just say that we don't want to make the same mistakes we made against Real Salt Lake.
And they certainly had the better of the chances after those first 2 that Real Salt Lake buried.
Yep.
Here's Gonsalves, hulking center back out of Portugal. Donnie Smith on the left. Josue Martinez grabbing and tugging at him, pokes the ball away, but gets the foul called for all the extracurricular activity with his arms.
Well done from Donnie Smith. He did it the other day. Showed that when he gets the ball, he's willing to go one-on-one at the goalkeeper, or at a defender instead, and take him on, cause a problem. Maybe you get a foul, maybe you get by and you can whip the cross in.
22-year-old out of Matthews, North Carolina. Yet to sign a contract, but he's here pretty late in camp. Today is a good chance to make his case. Lee Wynn delivers. Back post. Robles is there, takes a bump, and an immediate apology from the New England player. Now pushing and shoving from Darius Barnes, Heath Pierce, among others. And both these teams say they want to be tough teams, and I think they're trying to prove it in their early going here.
That was strange, though. Barnes was actually going to apologize, and it seemed
immediate,
like the
immediate
New York
apology.
Players were also just going over to say, you know, hey, something was said. Something was said by Pierce that set Barnes off. Now remember, on Wednesday, here it is, a little bit of pushing and shoving. On Wednesday, it was Barnes who was actually first in when Mark Birch and San Ignasi got into it after the tackle. It was Barnes who came over pretty fired up as well.
Don't believe any cards have been or will be issued here. Ricardo Salazar is a very man management referee. And we just restart with Luis Robles from inside his own area. 14th minute, New York 1, New England nothing. Here's Lee Wynn on the right-hand side. Twisting and turning. Leaves it. Sims' cross. Runs into the penalty area. Smith, Fagundes. Neat first touch. Still jitterbugging. Gets the shot off. And Robles handles it. But Fagundes dangerous as often is the case.
So quick on those first couple of touches. He's always looking to slither through a defense. After a while, though, if you take 2 or 3, especially in the box, there are going to be defenders all around you. It's going to make it tough for you to get a clean shot off.
Talk to Fagundes. He's still holding out hope of a call-up for Uruguay for this summer's Under-20 World Cup in Turkey. He did not play in the qualifying tournament in South America, but he said he's heard there may be some players that aren't released by their club teams. There may be some openings on that roster, and he'd love to be involved. He was in camp with them last fall, we should say. Didn't make the final roster again for the January tournament, but certainly is in the pool. And he's had contact with the manager for this summer. "15 minutes in, New York 1, New England nothing. Henry on the far side of the field, back to Miller. Juninho inside, going to drive the switch for Josue Martinez. Darius Barnes just got ahead to it and knocks it out for a corner.
2 more inches from Juninho's diagonal ball, and Martinez was in alone, a little chest trap, and he would be in alone. Nice work by Darius Barnes to track back. All it needs is a little flick defensively.
Juninho trots over to take the corner. His delivery led to New York's opening goal on Wednesday night after Thierry Henry had taken the first couple of corners. Here it comes, edge of the 6-yard box. It bounces, and A.J. Soares comes away with it. Neat moves to get it wide for Benson. Fagundes in support, Donnie Smith joining. And Josue Martinez, who's put in a good work ethic on this right side, hustles back to knock it out.
Not really Benson's game to be out on the line, trying to get down the line with the ball. Jay Heaps himself said he wants to try and keep him within the 18s. Does not want him floating wide. He seems to like to float wide sometimes. But if you can keep him in the 18s, that's where the goals are going to come from.
Gonsalves heads this one away. It'll be a New York throw-in. Deep in the attacking half, Cahill trotting over.
It's interesting. On Wednesday, we didn't see much. We haven't seen much so far right now from Fabian Espindola. Newly acquired this year. He just hasn't really seemed to be clicking yet.
Fighting for the ball there. It falls to Cahill. Still with it, looking to move the ball. Juninho goes backward, and New York will reset. Mike Petke and Robin Fraser both up off the New York bench. John Wallenek recently announced as another member of the coaching staff, sitting third in line there. Not a bad coaching staff.
A lot of experience, a lot of MLS experience.
Henry to Cahill. Feeds Martinez, wants to get back onto that left foot. Roy Miller on the left. A.J. Soares deals with the cross, knocks it out for a New York throw-in. Henry on it, trying to return it to Miller. Andrew Farrell dealt with it well. Been impressed with him in game plus for New England in this tournament. Martinez, Juninho, again active, running ahead of him. Early ball in, and it puts Matt Reese under some pressure to catch at the back post.
Juninho is running a lot out of the deep positions in the midfield.
Cahill covered him that time.
And now saying to continue to cover, maybe keep pushing Juninho. We've always said it's Cahill who ends up pushing ahead of Juninho. I actually think it's the other way around, that Juninho likes to drop so deep. Cahill sees that space, and the first thing he does is move into it.
His eyes light up. He can't pass that up. 20th minute here. New York 1, New England nothing. Gonsalves floats forward. It's headed away by Olave. Cahill tries to find Juninho. Takes a bump from Sims. Olave steps up and wins it, but apparently used his arm, and it'll be a free kick to New England. Middle of the field, about 30 yards from goal.
I think that's probably the first mistake that Olave's made in this game so far. He has been phenomenal. His positioning has been good. He stepped up. What an amazing pickup for New York to pick up Jameson Olave. So if he can stay healthy, that is the key. He's had troubles with injuries in the last couple of years with Salt Lake. So if he can stay healthy, that is such a phenomenal person to have in the center of your defense. That's your anchor for your defense.
Yeah, and they had to give up a lot of allocation money to get him, but, you know, seems well worth it, and they got it back when they moved Kenny Cooper. Wynn chips it into the box. Didn't have a lot of targets there. This is Gonsalves on the left side with Henry on him. Tried some moves, and Eric Alexander got into the tackle for New York. Forces New England all the way back. Benson with his back to goal. Held the ball through Alexander's challenge. Now Donnie Smith on the left. Against Kimura. Smith got a step, goes to the back post. Headed down and headed out by Roy Miller.
That first step from Smith is very quick. Kimura is not a slow player out there. And for his first step to get in that space and then to actually get the cross to the far post, very well done from Donnie Smith.
Heath Pierce just rips it long out of the back. And New England will settle down. We go to a question came in from YouTube from CA4 Go Chops. I don't know what that means. Are MLS teams moving away from building around one big player and toward coach's preference?
That's a good question. I think in some ways, we heard Jason Kreis say the other day that Real Salt Lake is going to spend their money having a little bit more depth and having more options at each position and more competition rather than to go and spend a lot of money, or a lot of their salary cap money on a quote-unquote elite player is what the word that Jason Kreis himself used. I think they are in some ways. They're trying to say, let's build. They watch a team like Houston and how they're consistently successful. You look at Kansas City and what they've done. It's all about the team. It's about having, you know, good players at every position.
I don't know that teams ever built around one big player with the, you know, there's obviously certain teams that have a one big name that dwarfs the others, but I think it's a movement toward having several very, very good players rather than one phenomenal player in a lot of cases. As Olave and Benson get tangled up, and Mike Petke animated toward the fourth official. Robin Frazier animated toward the head ref, both out of the technical area.
Yeah, the Revolution bench just sitting there.
Soares sprays it wide left for Donnie Smith, who got behind Kimura. Hits a great cross in the box, trying to settle was Benson. He couldn't do it. Here's Barnes. Fagundes with his back to goal. Taking touches. Looking for Donnie Smith, and it's broken up by Eric Alexander. Fabian Espindola with his back to goal. Got it off his foot and kept it moving. Alexander tried to play through for Henry. He saw it late, and that enables Farrell to clean it up, but Ricardo Salazar's got the foul behind the play. And it'll be a free kick to New York back on the lower side of the center circle. '24th minute on a Saturday night in Tucson. New York won on a goal from Juninho in the 11th minute. A blast from the top of the area. A one-time hit. New York tied Real Salt Lake on Wednesday night. And we get a look back at the play. Juninho, what a shot. No chance for Matt Reese in the New England goal. Long throw from Barnes, dealt with by Olave. Donnie Smith doing very well to move the ball there for New England before Olave came in with a two-footed tackle, and
Olave was fine,
Benson came over the ball.
Yeah, coming over the ball. Olave has every right to slide through that ball and try to kick it.
He did. He did it with both feet rather than most players who do it with one. I didn't mean it in the dirty two-footed tackle. He just
touchy word.
Used both
2 feet. Touchy word. Be careful.
It's accurate. Juninho playing an early long ball here, and it's too far for Martinez.
Needed a little bit more loft on that so that it would bite as it drops. And you'll see a lot of deep-lying midfielders like a Juninho. They have the ability to do this where they turn it, and they know if it's a straight ball, if it's what they call a vertical ball, like going up and over a defense, you want to get more loft and some backspin so that when it lands, it has some bite and the forward can get to it and doesn't skip over the end line.
New England with it at the back. Soares goes forward looking for Wynn. He dummied it, but there was nobody there. That same kind of pocket we've seen Lee Wynn pop up in a couple of times. It's too wide for the two defensive midfielders and too narrow for the outside back.
Yeah, then it falls then to the center backs to be communicating with the guys in front of them to drop in.
Juninho at the halfway line. Back to Olave. Steps up, neat movement. Juninho wide left to Miller. Miller, top of the box for Tim Cahill. Left-footed shot, wide of the mark from Juninho. He almost had a second. And the New York bench standing up to applaud that one.
More good movement all around from New York. This is what we were talking about, what we saw on Wednesday after they went down 2 goals and they started to move the ball. Here's the ball that eventually falls to Cahill. A couple of passes set it up in the first place. Juninho looking to curl it into the upper 90 right there as it gets it from Cahill. And Cahill does a good job. When Cahill passes it to Juninho and then makes the run, a lot of people are expecting for Juninho to try and clip it back to him. Instead, he goes for goal.
Barnes on the left touchline. Martinez broke it up. Got it to Cahill. Clyde Sims got in the way of that one.
Olave has won every single ball that's come into his area.
He seems to get matched up with
It's
Fagundes
incredible.
in the air, which is a hilarious mismatch.
But every ball that's on this side of the field, the near side of the field, that's tried to be played over or tried to be played through, Olave is right there to make the play.
Khalifa Cisse working on the far side of the field. Thierry Henry back defending. I'm sure they know that Strasbourg is famed for its cathedral.
I would hope so.
Gonsalves long switch trying to find Wynn. Henry got there and hooked it out of play. We got the battle of the vendors going on around us. We got 3 of them in full throat.
It's all about the lemonade, just like Grandma made.
Eric Alexander for New York. Kimura flying forward on the right. Alexander uses him now. And Kimura forced all the way back to Jamison Olave.
And look at where Juninho is coming to get the ball. All the time circling it back around to get the ball.
Pass in the direction of Smith, broken up by Kimura. Juninho and Alexander keeping possession for the Red Bulls. Alexander fed Martinez. Benson and Barnes tried to break it up. Martinez kept it moving. Alexander feeds a Spindola, and A.J. Soares arrives perfectly, timing that one and clears it out of play.
A nice ball trying to set Spindola in through behind the defense. It's a nice play by Eric Alexander. Kind of falls nicely to him in the first place, but once he gets it, he does well to play the ball in.
Espindola trying to body up Gonsalves at the edge of the area. Tried to turn it for Cahill, and it ends up out for a corner kick. The Red Bulls second, both from that right corner. And Juninho trots over for his second look. A supporters group over there, I don't know who they're rooting for. Juninho's delivery near post, deflected back post. Cahill and Espindola were there. Espindola got ahead to it at the front post looking for Cahill at the back. And it came off a Revolution defender. It'll be a third Red Bulls corner. I think they have on retake these just because he's a threat to score on them.
With the Olympico.
See. Looking for Cahill. Got up well, of course. Comes back to Henry. Henry one-on-one with Sims. Played it low with the left foot, and Matt Reese reacts well to hold it at the edge of the 6-yard box. Another question has come in from Bruno FC4.
This is on YouTube, I believe.
Yes, these are YouTube questions. Where are the Revs going to find creativity in midfield this year?
That is a darn good question. So far in this game, we haven't really seen much other than those 2 or 3 times that we've seen Lee Win actually get the ball in the middle and start to try and create. When he finds these pockets like just now, he can start to create things. Donnie Smith has done well on the outside when he gets the ball, and he stays on the flank and goes one-on-one. But I think that there are a lot of questions right now. By the way, we've not seen Kellen Rowe in this preseason so far, and so he's a guy who could be creative.
Wantoha, Lee Win, and Donnie Smith all have creative sparks in different ways.
But that's the problem. There's not the one who can really take over a game, I don't think, personally take over a game and say, I'm going to be creating all of these things, where you can run the ball through that player every single time.
Andrew Farrell attacking on the right for New England, still going and easily dispossessed by Roy Miller at the top of the box. Let that touch get away from him.
Well, suffice to say, it's not going to be coming from Andrew Farrell in the midfield.
Bad touch by Josue Martinez, falls right to Clyde Sims. He and Cisse patrolling that midfield for New England. And Cisse's pass off the mark, looking for Darius Barnes.
I think the Revs right now, though, they're not even getting the ball into their forwards' feet. Now, the Red Bulls are doing a phenomenal job of controlling the play, getting the ball. They're moving it quickly every single time that they've got a chance to play the ball into Juninho's feet. Even Eric Alexander is also checking back to the ball. The outside backs, Kimura and Roy Miller, are doing well to get forward, but they're finding space and they're all moving for the ball.
Martinez trying to get onto the end of the Juninho run. Gonsalves read it, and now Soares heads back to Reese. But for New England, yep. I guess my question is Jerry Benson really a number 9, a guy who likes to play with his back to goal? Yes, he's tall, but I don't really know that that's his type of game. I see him as a speed forward.
But he's not fast enough to be a speed forward. That's the problem. If you want him to be a speed forward, he's got to be faster than that at this level.
But I guess I'm saying I think he needs a target to play off of, not a Diego Fagundes type. Doesn't have to be a speed forward, but
maybe he does. Maybe that's what he needs. And I could also, I would be curious actually to see if Diego Fagundes could be brought into the midfield to sit back a little bit more. Could you play a Juan Toja as a target man? He's got great feet. He's maybe not strong enough and durable enough, but you could play it into his foot anytime you wanted.
Clyde Sims has a rip from distance and forces Luis Robles to watch it go by his post. I mean, I think that's one reason they've got Matt Horth. They've got Marco Jesic in camp, because to me, Benson, here's an example. Will Bruin, not good enough yet at being a target forward, but he's a second forward playing off of one. Great at one-touch finishes coming into the box. That's what Benson strikes me as his strengths.
Well, then Fagundes is not the right guy to be sitting right next to him.
No. They've also got Chad Barrett arriving. He's not fit yet, but picked him in the re-entry draft, and they did come to terms.
Another good option, perhaps, if Chad Barrett could, as soon as he gets fit. Chad Barrett always getting into dangerous positions, always creating chances. Not always putting
not always finishing them. You're right.
But he's I mean, the amount of chances that he gets and the dangerous positions he gets into,
And he's
Any
a guy
coach wants that.
who's pretty quick, but he's certainly going to be better at holding the ball than Fagundes at this point in his career. Revolution also taking Hunter Freeman in the re-entry draft, did not come to terms with him.
Right now, though, it's tough. The Revs are not really getting any possession. And when they are, I mean, the lines right now, the lines of the midfield and the defense for New York. And there's Olave again to win that ball that's just hopefully sent forward by the Revolution.
35th minute, New York 1, New England nothing. Benson gave that one away with his back to goal, and New York restarts with Miller. Andrew Farrell deals with it well. Ahead to Fagundes. Fagundes steps by one, holds him off into the penalty area. Still going and has his cross knocked out for a Revolution corner kick. Lee Wynn over to take it from the far side. Revolution have the edge in shots, 5-2, but in terms of quality chances created, it's been a while since New England has troubled New York. Wynn driven ball looking for Cisse, and he heads it well over the top. But you could see the connection there between Wynn and his target.
Yeah, and it's nice. I mean, someone with Wynn's right peg who can put a ball where he wants it when he drives it through. It's a great look, you know. But how many corner kicks are you going to get? If you're not getting into that final third, you need to start getting more of those chances. If that's where your chances are coming from, then be the kind of team that's working to get those set pieces in that area, and then using a guy like Lee Wynn to his magic on the right foot to put the ball where he needs to.
And they were early. They had one at the right edge of the area, one on the left. And the last 10, 20 minutes or so, nothing in the final third.
I think all the possession that New York has had has disrupted any sort of rhythm that New England can start to mount. Donnie Smith is, I think, probably the most dangerous thing out here on the right side, or the left side for New England.
Matt Reese did well to keep that one in the field of play. Olave and Fagundes, again, an aerial mismatch. Juninho plays this one through looking for Henry, and Andrew Farrell goes horizontal to clear that one.
Acrobatic.
Cahill all day to turn. Tries to go wide for Henry and mishit it completely. Picked off by Farrell, who again for me has been a bright spot from the New England preseason. He tries to find Donnie Smith cutting in there, and Kosuke Kimura handles it for New York. Kimura and Brandon Barklage, two of the options at right back for the Red Bulls. They've also got an ongoing battle at left back with Roy Miller, Connor Lade, and possibly Heath Pierce, who's in the middle tonight.
Lots of options for Mike Petke in the back.
You figure Olave and Holgerson will see the bulk of the playing time at center back.
I don't know. If you talk to Heath Pierce, he'd probably argue that fact. And he probably maybe thinks he's the man who should be in the center of the defense as well. But who does he displace?
I think he'd argue he should be one of the four. I'd put him at left back personally, but I have liked what Roy Miller's shown going forward as well. So,
yep. Problem with Roy Miller is he's so inconsistent with his crossing, and so he gets forward well, and he's not the best set piece taker. Free kick late in the game.
Don't get me started. don't get any of the New York fans started.
Oh, but it's so fun.
It's still one of the most baffling moments of last year, I think.
Yes, but it is a baffling moment at the same time. That's not why they lost.
No.
Because of one set piece at the end of the game. This is a little bit better. New York dropping off, interestingly. I'm not sure why they dropped off. They had a much higher pressure about 10 minutes ago, and they were succeeding. Now they're dropping off a little, giving New England some possession. But it's only in the back. New England aren't getting anywhere, really. And then
Lee Wynn gave that one away. Fabian Espindola racing to the left corner of the area. Leaves it for Henry. made one move, tried to cross it, and it was deflected away from Eric Alexander. And Andrew Farrell again shows some of his athleticism to clear that one. And Benson did finally draw a foul at the halfway line to alleviate some of the pressure for New England.
Another amazing move right there from the New England Red Bulls.
Wish we had an ISO camera on Farrell, though. He's got some amazing moves as well.
He's very acrobatic. His diving header was interesting, the defensive diving header. You don't see that very often.
I would argue we should see a lot more of it.
just
because it's fun.
Hopefully from the Revs fans' perspective, they don't have to see too much of it.
Fair point. Here's Cisse looking for Barnes getting forward, and the offside flag was up. Timing wasn't there on the run. Barnes had overlapped Donnie Smith. Or perhaps underlapped him.
No, he overlapped on the Barnes coming on the outside as Smith moved to the inside.
We never got those scarves we were promised from the supporters down by the dugout.
I already have one of those.
You were covered?
They are the FC Tucson supporters are down behind Matt Reese, the goalkeeper for the New England Revolution. And they are known as the Cactus Pricks.
That is their name. Benson on it wide right for Lee Wynn. Running at Roy Miller here. Now jogging and passing it backward. Long diagonal was cut out by Kimura, who will play it upfield now in the direction of Espindola. AJ Soares handled it, but Josue Martinez outraced Barnes to get to it. Has Juninho running in front of him, tried to find him, but never really had the angle.
New York have won every second ball, though.
AJ Soares is down, which is never a concern. He's holding his right leg, it looks like.
Looks like it's a calf, perhaps. But
he doesn't seem too troubled by it, other than asking for a little bit of attention here. So hopefully it's nothing too serious for AJ Soares.
Stephen McCarthy up off the bench. Step in for Soares.
And we get a look back again at the Juninho goal. You say Henry was dummying it for Espindola.
Yeah, I think that's who he thought was there, and instead it's the deep run coming in from Juninho who ends up finishing it. But I think that when Henry was originally making it, he expected Espindola to be in behind him.
It was kind of funny because you see Espindola on the tape screech to a halt, like, "Oh, I've got to run back and get that," and then
because he's
then he saw Juninho coming.
He made the wrong run.
Soares walking toward the bench. And we will get the substitution with McCarthy checking in the 43rd minute. So a like-for-like sub at the back. And we're back in with Lee Wynn on the ball for New England. Farrell under some pressure here, goes back to Reese.
McCarthy was probably the most dangerous weapon that New England had on Wednesday against Seattle. He was really, really good on set pieces, on corner kicks, challenging the goalkeeper, winning those challenges and creating a bunch of havoc.
Benson again out on this left-hand side after Barnes had overlapped again, and the clearance straight into the chairs at the end of the New York bench, where winter hats and hoods are the attire du jour. Darius Barnes going to line up this throw-in. We know he can reach the penalty area with it. McCarthy has not come up for this one, however. It's Benson and Donnie Smith and Khalifa Cisse. Barnes throw. Bounces around. Revolution yelling for a handball. We could hear Jay Heaps up here in his distinctive cry. Not answered this time. Win to Farrell on the right, and Roy Miller got there. He and Andrew Farrell collide as Farrell slid for the ball, and it'll be a throw-in for New York. Here's a look back at the throw from Darius Barnes.
Shot for a handball. Who's it? Olave that's in there, maybe? Looks like it's a head, though.
Certainly the first contact came off a head.
It was interesting that not too many of the Revolution players that were in the area shouted for the handball. Jay Heap, 60 yards away, was sure it was.
If you're not convinced, neither will the referee be. 45th minute of the first half. New York leading New England 1-0 on the goal from Juninho. We've had some good goals in this tournament.
Yes, we have. Eddie Johnson's goal on Wednesday, curling it in the corner.
Michael Bustamante's goal on Wednesday in terms of team buildup.
Mario Martinez with the the side volley into the far netting.
And here's a chance for Juninho from serious range. See if he can hit this one on target.
You think he's going to goal?
I do. Juninho over the top. Off the fingertips of Matt Reese.
Well, that was interesting. That was fun. Wasn't sure that from that distance he was at least 35 yards away.
Have you watched Juninho?
I have.
He loves that range.
That's his spot. I understand that, but I just never think that a shot from that range really can ever trouble a goalkeeper.
He put it in a good spot. Red Bulls take the corner short. Henry floats it in, headed over by Olave arriving. And it'll be a goal kick for Matt Reese. Ricardo Salazar boots the ball into the stands and blows the whistle. You don't see that very often.
He's called halftime.
Referee kick the ball into the stands and blow the whistle for halftime. New England had the chance early in the first half with Fagundes, with Benson forcing Luis Robles into saves. New York certainly controlled the last two-thirds of the first half. They're in the lead thanks to the goal from Juninho. We will take a break of about 10 minutes. Hit us up with questions on Twitter at JT Yardley or on the YouTube comments. We will answer them after the break. At halftime, New York 1, New England nothing. Back in about 10 minutes. Enjoy your halftime. Back here in Tucson at halftime with the New York Red Bulls leading the New England Revolution 1-0. Jonathan Yardley and Greg Lawless with you, and we have many first half highlights to show you. New England getting chances first. Lee Wynn setting up Jerry Benson for a shot.
It's a good ball in, and Benson does well to get the shot off quickly. Hey, Luis Robles, great save right there to get down quickly and make the save.
Missed the game the other night with a sore back, called upon twice early, and he denied Benson again in the early going.
The Revs weren't done. Free kick to the far post from Lee Wynn gets knocked back in the middle, and Gonsalves skies his shot on the half volley. Should have done better and put it in the back of the net.
Here's where the game changed. Look at this deflection, runs towards Thierry Henry. He dummies it, and eventually it falls to Juninho.
Late run from Juninho. Great finish. The ball bounces up really nicely for him. I still think that Thierry Henry on the dummy expected Espindola to be behind him, and it all worked out pretty fortunately. Look at the finish from Juninho right there into the lower corner.
Howitzer with the right foot. Then a little pushing and shoving. Darius Barnes accidentally carried him to Luis Robles, tried to apologize, and someone from New York took exception, maybe Heath Pierce.
Heath Pierce goes up there to have a question right there. Another chance from Juninho a couple minutes later, just trying to curl it into the upper 90. A ball from Cahill, and Juninho wasn't done.
Greg thought he was passing, I thought he was shooting, and look at this effort. Matt Reese had to tip it over from 35-plus yards. Hey, Juninho in this first half, he may still have it. He was very effective. He
definitely still has it. That one, he's chasing back defensively. I think if you're a Red Bulls fan, you're very excited from what you saw from that first 45.
Jonathan Yardley and Greg Lawless with you in Tucson. And an out-of-town scoreboard update. In Charleston, we told you Chicago beat Houston 3-2 to open the Carolina Challenge Cup at Blackbaud Stadium, home of the Charleston Battery. In the second game, Vancouver has beaten the Charleston Battery 3-2. Whitecaps went up 3-0. 2 goals in the first half from Kakuta Mane, and a strike from the new Japanese midfielder Daigo Kobayashi. I'm waiting to see it. Twitter tells me it was a good goal. We're waiting to see just how good, but go on MLSsoccer.com later tonight and try and check that one out. Nicky Patterson and Dane Kelly pulled goals back for Charleston, but Vancouver held on to win 3-2. So Vancouver and Chicago both 1-0. Houston and Charleston 0-1 in the Carolina Challenge Cup. We had some questions and some requests on Twitter. Have you figured out how to do a shout-out in Spanish?
I haven't, but we actually have our own Diego Pinzon here who can help us to figure out how to. So at Vinny Krug on Twitter, hit up at JT Yardley, the man right here, and ask for a shout-out to his wife, Melissa, in English or Spanish. So how's the Spanish one go?
Un saludo para Melissa, la esposa de
Vinny.
Vini.
Vinny in Spanish sounds a lot like Vinny in English. Gracias, Diego.
Diego Pinzon from Futbol MLS. He has coverage prepared of the Garcia signing for Real Salt Lake and of this tournament as well.
All kinds of stuff from Diego. So at Sean Donahue, who has a question about the Revolution, how can the New England Revolution be more effective on set pieces? They were last in the league last year in 2012. How can they be more effective on set pieces this year?
Well, I think our first answer is you need to get more of them. I mean,
if you get more of them, that helps.
Right? I think give Lee Wynn the keys as far as delivering them, and then aim for Stephen McCarthy is what we saw on Wednesday night.
Agreed. I think a little bit better, and service is a key too. If Lee Wynn can provide consistent service, and look, a guy like Cisse, he's a big guy too. He can get in the box and he can start to put some things away too. So Cisse, Gonsalves, if you have some of those big bodies that can go into the mixer on a corner kick or any kind of set piece, you will start to get goals.
And then we got a question coming in from YouTube. You can post questions on YouTube for us or go on Twitter at JT Yardley. Gunner183 wants to know how many goals this year for Juninho. Bottom line question.
7.
7?
Bottom line answer. There you go.
I'll take the under.
You take the under?
Take the under.
On 7?
Yeah, I think 5.
All right. Deal. All right, we have one more question here.
Somebody write that down and call us in September.
It's already written down. So we have one more question here on Twitter. This came from at NJ, I assume New Jersey, _Alvarez7. And he says, who will be the New York Red Bulls breakout player in 2013?
This is a tough one. It depends on what exactly you mean by breakout player.
You define it your way.
All right, well, I'm going to go with
JT
Tim. I'm going to go with Tim Cahill because
what are you talking?
No, he's a big name. He's a DP, right?
Yep.
He didn't do a whole lot last year in terms of production, and I think this year he's going to be more involved in terms of goals and assists after getting his feet wet in the league last year. So that's my answer in terms of guy who has not had huge MLS success before.
I got mine.
You have one?
Brandon Barklage.
Brandon Barklage?
Brandon Barklage is going to prove to everyone that he is actually one of the best right backs available in MLS.
Wow.
How's that?
And I'll tell you that I asked, I asked Heath Pierce that question earlier this week. He said Dax McCarty, who I consider to have already broken out, and Eric Alexander, recently acquired.
Eric Alexander, yep. Lots of changes for the Red Bulls here at halftime, it looks like, or no?
Michael Bustamante is in. I know that.
Yep.
I think he's in for
Juninho, maybe?
Yes, Eric Alexander is still in, so Juninho's out. Everybody else appears to be the same.
So no changes other than that.
And look, maybe that's the answer for Juninho. Maybe he needs to be told, go all out, running everywhere for 45 minutes.
Yep.
Scott Caldwell in for Clyde Sims at the half for New England.
We saw this same change on Wednesday when Sims was basically asked to be subbed off after the scuffle with Ozzie Alonso.
Scott Caldwell, whose father Larry played in the NASL with Hartford, so he's got the New England soccer roots, two-time All-America selection with Akron, and here we go in the second half. New York leading 1-0. New England with the ball at the moment. The Revolution in navy blue going left to right, attacking from the left field fence toward the first base line. And the long ball for Benson, going to run all the way to Luis Robles, who's in goal for the New York Red Bulls. White jerseys, red shorts, white socks for the Red Bulls.
You bring up Robles. They're still waiting on Ryan Mira to get back from the injury that's kept him out for so long.
Bustamante broke that one up. Yeah, he's down here with the team, of course, and originally I believe the hope was to get him some action in this tournament. The response we got from Mike Petke yesterday was not entirely sure that's going to happen.
No, but he did also say that he expects there to be a goalkeeper battle this year for New York. He basically said that Luis Robles is his #1 on opening day, but that after that, and if Mira gets back and is healthy and playing, to an extent the way he did when he first started.
Cahill slotting it through. Espindola, flag is up. Tough call from our angle, and Tim Cahill not happy about it either.
I think it was the right call. I think Cahill was late. He took one extra touch or one extra step before he actually went to go and play the ball through. I think it needed to be earlier.
Just has to be any part of your body with which you can score a goal. So if even the toe of Espindola was behind the last defender, it's offside. Cross there, cut out by McCarthy with his chest. Here's Lee Wynn. Farrell ahead of him, overlapping. Churning up ground. Chance to cross. Benson, a dangerous one. Benson and Olave collide. Pierce clears the second ball. That was a good cross.
Good ball in from Farrell.
Bustamante on
banging bodies in there, though.
Yeah. He's not a wide body.
Nope.
Miller tried to go long for Henry, was a little late with it. Henry wearing the captain's armband, of course, for the Red Bulls. His 4th MLS season now. Martinez tried to turn. Darius Barnes forced him out of bounds. Substitutes warming up for both teams as you got to look at some of the New England players warming up on the near sideline.
Juan Toja in that mix over there.
And New York at the other end, out on the warning track. Connor Lade, Amando Moreno among them.
Connor Lade's an easy one to pick out from this distance.
I picked the 2 short guys. McCarthy sends this one forward looking for Farrell. It's going to skip out of his reach.
Andy Dorman also warming up for the Revolution.
Roy Miller to throw in his own end. Another throw in to Roy Miller. That'll give us a chance to ask another question from YouTube. Jacob Yakovets, expectations for Andrew Farrell? I'd say high.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that there should be some high expectations. He's the #1 overall pick in the MLS Super Draft back in January.
And they traded up to get it.
Traded up to get him. And, you know, I think that he still needs to adjust a little bit to the game. I actually personally think that he's better in the middle than he is on the right side.
I've heard a lot of coaches say that.
So I'm interested to see. Now, maybe I've talked to Jay Heaps about him a little bit, and I think that there's a sense of let's get him some time on the outside. They have some other options in the middle, so they don't need that. They're looking for some good options on the right side that can pair up, whether it's Alston who goes on the right, but they're also thinking about Alston on the left. So this way, get him some games, get him some understand the speed. Maybe you bring him into the middle in a year or two as well. So a lot of options. But the expectations for him are to be a starter on day 1, and if he stays healthy, then to be a starter through the rest of the season.
Miller with a back heel for Henry, top of the area. Henry leaves it off for Bustamante. Give and go with Henry, and the cross comes in from Martinez and is blocked out for a New York corner. I'm with you. He was picked because he was the most MLS-ready player, maybe the only MLS-ready player to make an instant impact, so that's my expectation, is be a starter all the way through.
I think you have to with the #1 pick. Have to imagine the #1 pick as a starter. I actually say that for 1 through
depends
5.
on the #1 pick. Omar Salgado was not a guy that you would expect to start.
I would have started him. I would have started him right away. I like Omar Salgado. I'm a big fan of Omar Salgado's.
As are the Whitecaps. Free kick taken to Bustamante, plays it across. Scott Caldwell deals with the header. I'm told once he gets healthy, he could be Salgado is a viable starting option on the left for the Whitecaps, but
when he was healthy, he was great.
Kakutamana may have something to say about that. Scored twice more today. Henry plays it across. Easy catch for Matt Reese.
Not a great cross from Thierry Henry.
Caldwell, Cisse, Donnie Smith on the left. Acres of space for Donnie Smith. Chipping it in, and touch let him down in the end. Not the quality he wanted.
No, a poor ball from Donnie Smith, and good work from the Red Bulls. Actually, Eric Alexander chasing back defensively to make a 1v1 all of a sudden be a 1v2, limiting the options that Donnie Smith had.
Cahill deep in the midfield for New York. Alexander pressured by Caldwell, poked it away to win. Fagundes, Benson. Passes was behind everybody, but it's Donnie Smith's shot, blocked by the hand of Olave. It's a penalty kick. Clear-cut penalty off the hand of Jamison Olave. Seems like 3 different passes there were behind the intended target, found a different target, and that set up Donnie Smith for the shot.
And Jamison Olave with perhaps the worst performance of actually trying to hide that there was a handball. It hit his hand. He literally tried to hide his hand behind his arm, like, no, that didn't happen, referee.
See if we catch it on here at all. Nope.
All happens very quickly there.
Lee Wynn going to step up to the penalty kick for New England. Wynn fires, chips, scores.
Yeah, no firing at all. That was much more of a cheeky, as the English would say.
He got Luis Robles to dive. He got me to say fired.
Yes, he did.
And he does get the goal.
Good penalty. Finished it. I guess any penalty you finish is a good one in the end. So.
Robles put in a tough spot. His first touch put him in an even worse spot, and Jerry Benson gave him a shoulder outside the penalty area. And the restart will be retaken since the ball was moving. Matt Reese booms it back to him. A little goalkeeper wars there. Martinez at the halfway line, broken up by Barnes. Donnie Smith got it back to him. Kosuke Kimura's there, and he heads it out for New York. Throw into New England. Quick look back at Lee Wynn's penalty effort.
Just a little chip, almost right down the middle. Robles unable to get back and put his arm to it. A long throw from Darius Barnes.
Headed out by Cahill. Donnie Smith couldn't control. Josue Martinez, now Bustamante for New York. Floated switch for Henry. Farrell is there with him and just bangs it upfield. You wanted to see him take a more composed touch there.
Or at least try. This is preseason, so at least in that situation, give it a try.
Win on the right. Fagundes tried to feed Benson. And Benson in the end tried to take a touch outside, I think, and it's a goal kick. I don't know why he didn't just hit that. (1-1) the score. Another YouTube question from Kieran. What are the chances the Red Bulls make it to/win MLS Cup?
1 in 19. How about that?
You just spun a wheel and picked a random number.
Well, no, there's 19 teams.
Okay, not random.
This is a league of parity, and it's 1 of 9. I think I think they have a decent chance, but once you get in the playoffs, it's do you have the mental makeup to push through? Do you have is everybody healthy? So many things that can go wrong. But I think that in many ways there's a lot of, and the fact that question was even asked is this idea that there is a lot of pressure on the Red Bulls this year to really push through and come through. It's Thierry Henry's 3rd full season with the Red Bulls. They've spent a lot of money to get Juninho, Cahill last year.
You don't usually have that level of expectations on a rookie coach. And so he does inherit, an established and talented team. Are you okay installing those expectations?
I think that if you're the New York Red Bulls in particular, you should have those expectations every single year. I think personally every team should have those expectations.
But there's just a difference between a goal and a realistic expectation.
But based on the skill and the talent and the ability that's on this team,
fair enough.
They should be aiming for winning the cup.
Agreed.
They've made a lot of moves to improve themselves on a lot of places on the field. So those moves, regardless of who the manager is, because they made that decision to hire him. If you're saying it's a first-year manager, well, they've made that decision as well. So the expectations need to be there.
Benson trying to hold off Alexander. I think he was waiting for Farrell to come take the ball. Farrell was waiting for the pass to come back to him, and eventually it is a foul and a free kick for New England in front of the Revolution bench. Both teams starting to stretch players out a little bit, playing their first group well into the second half here. Could see some changes in the next 5 minutes, and they may come fast and furious when they do. Wynn drives it in again. Headed out by Bustamante. Donnie Smith floats one. Looking for Benson. His header puts New England in front. Jerry Benson poaches at the back post. 2-1 Revs.
Good finish from Benson. And well done from Donnie Smith just to put the ball right back into the mixer on this one. And right before the set piece from Lee Wynn, Jay Heaps was actually telling, here's the ball coming back across that Benson ends up putting it away, but Donnie Smith was the one who hit it back across into the box. And actually right before the free kick from Wynn, Jay Heaps was telling Donnie Smith where to line up on the free kick. Arguably, you could say this was a set-piece goal. I mean, maybe not that it was a set-piece and you have a whole design play, but it does sort of fall off of a free kick situation.
It's interesting. You and I were looking at Donnie Smith's corners on Wednesday and saying, oh, these are too floated. There's too much air under them. They give the defenders time to react.
Yep.
It actually paid off there.
Yep.
Lee Wynn's driven ball was headed out, and the floating of Donnie Smith's ball back in gave Benson time to read it and get onto it. They've been surprisingly effective, those floaters. Cross comes. Matt Reese has it just in front of Tim Cahill. Rolls it out quickly to Farrell, and Wynn attacking on this right side for New England. You can see the confidence almost growing for the Revolution now, up 2-1. Benson has Farrell outside, uses him. Fagundes in the box. Farrell going to take on Miller. In the end, a little indecisive with the cross. Scott Caldwell wins it back for New England. Excellent play by Caldwell. Wynn with one fake. Waiting for some help. He gets it from Benson. Wynn tried to take Roy Miller and got taken down hard in front of the bench. And here's another look at it. Through the legs, takedown.
That's the cost sometimes of pulling a nutmeg.
It was pretty
some
cool.
Defenders will, it's an amazing play by
cool.
Lee Wynn, but some defenders will take exception to that and think of it as showboating, and they do not want to be beaten. All the Revolution technical staff wondering why there's no card on what looked like a blatant tackle.
Wynn bends this one in, looking for Stephen McCarthy, and his header held by Luis Robles. A little bit of a different delivery from Wynn, though.
Yeah, but McCarthy, again, the one who's the target, and he ends up putting it in there. He probably could have played it back across. Tough to get the power on it when he's moving backward in order to get the header.
61st minute, New England 2, New York 1. Both goals for New England coming in this half. Penalty kick from Lee Wynn, and a header from Jerry Benson off a Donnie Smith cross. Has Donnie Smith done enough to make this roster?
From what I've seen in the two games that we've seen him play, I think he's done well, and he's got more pace than I expected. And so I think that will also serve him well going forward. A coach always likes to see a player that can put it together with pace. There's Lee Wynn with his payback.
Wynn got a little payback, that's for sure. Roy Miller taken down. Bustamonte's pass way overhit. And Lee Wynn getting a talking to from Ricardo Salazar here. I'm not going to try and interpret this one. A couple of subs coming for New England, and one of them is Kellen Rowe, who we didn't see Wednesday. And the other is Bilal Duckett, former Vancouver defender. Duckett in for Andrew Farrell, and Rowe in for Donnie Smith. Round of applause for both Rowe and Farrell, beg your pardon, Smith and Farrell coming off.
Good to see Kellen Rowe back in. Looks like New York getting ready to make a couple of substitutions as well. Marcus Holgerson, Connor Lade up and picking up their jerseys.
Rowe, the second-year man out of UCLA. Long switch here for Darius Barnes. Knocked out by Kimura at right back. I'm still not, well, I'm interested to see Rowe as a wide player at times in this system. He's not hard enough to play maybe that central role that Sims and Cisse do. Win for Barnes. Took a knock, and it's another free kick for New England. Whoever our fan was who asked what can they do to be more effective on set pieces, that was Sean.
Yep.
Well,
at Sean Donahue.
They've drawn more, and it's been productive so far. Free kicks from the left for Wynn. McCarthy, Gonsalves, Benson, Cisse among the targets. Wynn serves it in. Cahill heads it down, and Cisse couldn't control. Rowe on it, trying to run to the right corner. And they go tumbling into the boards over there with Fabian Espindola. And everybody back up and okay, so good to see. New England readying a host of changes. Tyler Pollock, Juan Toja, Matt Horth, Marco Jesic, and Andy Dorman all in.
And then for New York, Connor Lade and Marcus Holgerson in for Roy Miller and Heath Pierce.
So both Benson and Fagundes out. Cisse out. Lee Wynn out for New England. Jesic and Horth trying to combine there. It's broken up. So Gonsalves and Reese, the only starters still in there for New England. Foul against Josue Martinez on the far side.
Little friendly handshake between Juan Toja and Jamison Olave. Couple of Colombian guys saying hello.
Long ball in the direction of Horth. Jesic chasing it as well. And Robles stepped outside the penalty area with the ball. It's been flagged, and it'll be a free kick to New England. Looks like the right call, and it's a yellow card to Robles in the 65th minute. His momentum carried him outside the penalty area, and here's a look at it. We, of course, can't see the line.
New York Red Bulls, yellow card.
And Connor Lade needs to do a little more to run Jesic off of the ball as he's coming through, just to play barrier as he runs across him.
Now, shouldn't the ball be placed on the line, since that's where the infraction was committed?
The infraction actually takes place outside of the line, because the whole ball has to be over the whole line.
Toja fires high. You know what I'm saying, flush against the line. More subs for New York, and this is where we'll be doing our best to keep track of all of them. We have DeGao, we have Barklage, Luyendula, Moreno, Lloyd Sam, and Rafinha.
And just for fans out there to know, Lloyd Sam, who many people project as a regular starter for this side, was held out by the coach. No injury of any sort on this one, but he was held out so the coaches could take a look a little bit more. Josue Martinez over on the right side.
Robles restarts with a goal kick, and his handball ends up not hurting them at all. And now another sub for New York. I think Mike Petke's saying, where were you? I tried to send everybody in and you were late. Here's Moreno. Bustamante broken up by Toja, but New York still with it.
I like Moreno. Energetic, looking to get forward at all times.
'68th minute, New England 2, New York 1. Andrew Ribeiro was the other sub for the Red Bulls out of Creighton. And now goalkeeper change for New York.
Number 16, Connor Lade. Number 19, Armando Moreno. Number 10, Lloyd Sam. Number 9, Peggy Luyendula.
He's wearing number 18, but that's not Ryan Mara.
No, that's not.
Sorry, that was the pause, is that New York switched goalkeepers. We believe it is Roman Acosta, an FC Tucson player, guest guesting with the Red Bulls. We'll try to confirm that shortly. Oh, you know what? I was told it was Ian Joyce was in camp, and it is Ian Joyce. That makes a lot more sense. Ian Joyce, formerly with the Rapids. He's also been a pool goalkeeper in MLS at times.
Now in goal for the New York Red Bulls. Number 18, Ryan Mira.
And predictably, PA announcement did not work out quite as expected for that. Here's Ribeiro on the ball to Lade. Tried to return it, knocked out by Jesic. DeGao on the ball. Switch for Barklage. Curious to see DeGao. We got, I think, 1 minute, and it came in a playoff game last year for New York. Bustamante plays it through. Tried to find Luyendula. That was Moreno trying to find him. Gonsalves hits long for New England. Matt Horth chasing it. Marcus Holgerson there. And Horth did an excellent job to keep that one in play. Barklage comes away with it for New York, though, and gets out of trouble for the Red Bulls. The Red Bulls had to be encouraged by that first half, but came out slow in the second half as New England heads this one back to Matt Reese, who kept it in.
Nice job from Reese to keep the ball from going out of bounds.
But what do you take away from the first 15 or 20 minutes of the second half, where New York had its starters in there and really didn't stamp its authority on the game and make that lead stand up?
Well, I don't think that they were really also, can't say they're going against the full B team of the Revolution in those first 15,
No,
20
I'm not.
minutes
I'm not
so
saying they were playing against bad players. I'm just saying.
I understand. So I mean, they didn't really take possession, and Bengtson started to bang around a little bit more up top, and then started to get a little bit more energy, I think, for the Revolution.
McCarthy long for Jesic. DeGao there for New York, and dribbled it out. It's going to be a corner kick for New England. Tried to take an extra touch there instead of just playing it safe out for a throw-in, and in the end, it gives another set-piece opportunity to New England. And of course, personnel changes. It'll be Kellen Rowe trotting over to take it. McCarthy still in there, marked by Holgerson. Rowe's delivery, looking for McCarthy, headed away by DeGao. Brazilian center back is a big figure back there.
It's pretty uncanny, though, how often McCarthy is involved on every single set piece that's played into the area.
I certainly don't think that one. I don't think was accidental, but yeah, he pops up a lot. Neat move by Toha. Knocked away again. Tyler Pollock off the mark. And that one runs out for a New England throw-in. Second of 3 group stage doubleheaders. Sounds weird to have a group stage when there's only 1 day of playoffs, but that's what we call it. Second of 3 doubleheaders leading up to the third place game and championship next week. On Wednesday, we'll have New York against Seattle and New England against Real Salt Lake. Available right here on MLSsoccer.com. Moreno gets into the penalty area for New York with Rafinha in support. And it's knocked out of bounds off of the youngster Moreno.
Good
for a New England goal kick.
Moreno probably should have looked for the heel pass. He had Rafinha open. He could have just touched it back to him.
No one's ever made a heel pass sound that easy before. No. You're right. He was there.
There are plenty of players that can do it, so.
Lade stretches, but it runs right to Dorman in the middle of the field. He drops it off for Pollock.
Interesting that Dorman chose to go back or to go sideways in there when he looked like he could have just turned and had it go at goal.
Caldwell shapes the pass wide to Toha, kept it in on the right sideline. Jitterbugging against Rafinha, who knocked it out of bounds.
Like a Harlem Shake there from Juan Toha.
Better not try that in New York. Foul against Lade here. Another free kick for New England. Toha going to take this one himself.
Wait for the big guys to get forward.
They worked on these for a while yesterday. Toha floats it back post.
Interesting.
Gonsalves kept it alive. Joyce came forward and got a hand to it. Caldwell with a bit of an awkward touch, and New England going to go all the way back with Duckett on the ball here. And someone's gotten a Vuvuzela into the stadium.
Every game needs a Vuvuzela once or twice.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the Vuvuzela. I know a lot of people aren't, but I like it. I don't know. It seems odd that everyone complained when the World Cup had a bunch of Vuvuzelas, but everyone loved it when Mexico's had them for 30 years. They've been maybe more. I don't even know. Azteca's always been a cauldron of Vuvuzelas.
My parents stopped going to Giant Stadium because they sold Vuvuzelas.
Really?
Yeah. My dad started taking earplugs when I made them go. Luyendula trying to play Lloyd Sam on the right. Matt Reese off his line slides and holds it for New England.
More Lloyd Sam can be involved in the play for New York. On the outside, the better it is. He's got all that pace.
Pollock was trying to find Toha, but his pass was off the mark. And it's knocked out by Duckett for New York throw. And this mass sub is definitely
It's a little sloppy right now.
given each
But I
team
think we've
pause.
seen that. We've seen that in every game though. When the mass sub happens,
It takes
a couple minutes for everyone to just get on the same page.
Toha against the youngster Moreno. Pass rolls top of the penalty area. Caldwell, Dorman. Duckett making a run. Dorman didn't see him and just held on to the ball. Now Caldwell tried to slot one through, is knocked away.
I like what I see from Caldwell. He's trying to play quickly. He's trying to look for that through ball. Every single time he gets it, it's a quick turn with the ball and then looking to play that through ball through. As opposed to playing the through ball over.
I don't know where else you would play it, but you know.
I guess the through ball sort of has to go through, doesn't it?
I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, go ahead. Mock away.
If you can call me out for fires on a chipped penalty kick. Shows you the danger of deciding what to say before you say it. Through ball picked off by DeGao. Ribeiro keeps it moving to Luyendula. Rafinha on the left flank. Cutting into the penalty area. Playing it back with the left foot off the mark from Moreno. New York trying to duplicate its goal from Wednesday night.
Almost.
And the youngster from Marlborough didn't have the finishing touch.
Right, it looked very similar, and Bustamante buried his on Wednesday. This one looked very similar, and Ribeiro putting it up and over.
Marco Jesic trying to bring this one down. Out of contract with the Newcastle Jets in Australia. Trying to earn one here. Rafinha's pass blocked by Duckett. He and Toha win the ball.
It's nice to see Juan Toha back in MLS. He had those 2 great years with FC Dallas. I think the Juan Toha hairdo became a fashion statement around Dallas soccer for a while.
Duckett to Jesic, knocked out for a New England throw. He's one of the players who went from MLS and then played in the Champions League after playing in MLS.
Went to Romania and played for
Stowe.
Is that how you pronounce it? I've always said Stoa.
You can say that and you...
Okay. And it used to be Steaua Bucharest, but now they've decided that we have to say it by the Romanian name, so it's Bucuresti. Or București, I think.
București?
Is that it?
I
don't speak Romanian, so.
you and I discussed this. I just say the American version of the city.
Oh, good. Steaua Bucharest.
Steaua Bucharest.
Okay.
I have a jersey somewhere.
Do you?
Doesn't mean I don't. Doesn't mean I know how to pronounce the name.
I don't have any jerseys from European teams. Just my Panathinaikos scarf, and that's it. That's all I need. You need a scarf.
I'm hoping to pick one of those up. I'm headed to Greece this summer.
Are you? Well, we should talk.
We will. Won't be in Athens long, so
Why not?
schedule would have to work out.
Not too bad. It's a wonderful city.
No disputing that. Toha, chance to play through, looking
Good
for
idea.
Yesic. And he got a lot of air under it, and Ian Joyce came off his line to grab it for New York.
Good idea from Toha, looking for the outside of the foot to curl it and hoping just to curl it into the space for Yesic.
80th minute, New England 2, New York 1. Red Bulls controlled much of the first half, leading on a Juninho goal at halftime. New England has come back with a Lee Wynn penalty kick and a Jerry Benson header. Jose Gonçalves got to that one in the corner, kept it in play, and sends it long to the New York half of the field. New England can hold this lead. The New England Salt Lake game on Wednesday becomes crucial for determining who reaches the final. New York would still be alive, though. Lloyd Sam offside on the far side.
You know, we often talk about, when you think about offside calls, we talk about who's to blame, if you will, for being offside in a situation.
The linesman, right? Always the linesman.
it's always the assistant referee. No, but you know, sometimes it is the guy who makes the run. They make the run too early. Sometimes they're not concentrating and paying attention to where the line is. Sometimes it's the guy who makes the pass, doesn't hit the ball on time, doesn't understand the rhythm of the play, so that the run has to happen at that time or it's a useless run.
Here's Matt Horth getting into the penalty area. Big collision. The whistle goes.
Not sure what the...
And we're waiting for the call. There was
like
no
it's coming
point to
out.
the spot.
I think it's going to be a foul on the Revolution, but
Matt
Ian
Horth was the
Joyce-
forward in the box.
Ian Joyce came out and really clobbered DeGao.
Here's a look at it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how Horth is called for anything in that one, considering that Joyce clobbered DeGao.
I thought we could have just played on, to be honest.
Well,
Everyone is up and hopefully okay. Eight games involving MLS teams today. 2 last night, 2 more tomorrow. The march to soccer is well underway. Through ball looking for Moreno. Rolls all the way to Matt Reese at the other end. Scores, and in many cases highlights of those, available at MLSsoccer.com tonight, tomorrow. I know a few guys who are going to be up late tonight working. Reese drives that one. There's Toha playing not as a target, but as certainly the target of that line drive from Matt Reese. Scott Caldwell could have been whistled for a foul there, but Ricardo Salazar plays advantage. Bustamante in the midfield. He and Ribeiro kind of occupying the same space there, but they move it out wide for Lloyd Sam. Chance to run it, a defender. Tyler Pollock broke it up, got it to Rowe. He loses out. Sam on it again. Barklage kept it moving. Pollock defending in his own corner. Chance for Barklage to play it in, does so with the left foot. Luyendula got a head to it, but didn't put it in a dangerous spot at all.
I think he might have been trying to flick it on. He had a couple of deep runners Moreno and Bustamante running out of the midfield. If you'd maybe gotten a flick on it.
Reese puts a lot of air under this one. Horth got ahead to it. Jesic chasing. DeGao there. Caldwell broke the play up, but only briefly, and Bustamante kept it going. Now a bad tackle by Caldwell, and he gets a yellow card for his trouble. You don't think of Scott Caldwell as that type of player, but he showed a little bite there and got a yellow card for it. DeGao drives this one in the direction of Sam. Knocked down to Bustamante out of BU. Another guy trying to earn a contract, as is Andrew Ribeiro. This one played through, and the Revolution have it at the back. Matt Reese happy to take his time picking it up, even in preseason.
Yellow card issued for New England's number 6, Scott Caldwell, in the 84th minute.
In the first game today, Seattle beat Real Salt Lake 2-1. Great goal from Mario Martinez to open the scoring. Philip Lund, a Danish trialist, also scored one. And Real Salt Lake got a late goal from John Sturzer. But Seattle held on to win 2-1. They beat New England 2-0 on Wednesday, so they are 2-0, 6 points in the championship match Saturday night. Waiting to see who will join them, and likely not going to come tonight. I don't even know if it's possible for it to come tonight. New York playing out of the back. Lade just booms it up the middle in the end. Gonsalves, a couple of awkward touches, gave it away. We haven't seen Izquierdo yet, the young Spanish winger for New York. In either of these games. I'm not aware of any injury situation with him, but haven't seen him yet. He is already signed, so they may be looking more at players who have something to prove at the moment.
Yes and no. You'd also want to play him, though.
You would
need
think.
To get him into the fold, get him understanding the system.
Here's Ribeiro in midfield. To Sam on the right. Pollock backs off initially. Ribeiro again. New York down a goal. Closing minutes. Here's Rafinha wide on the left. Cuts inside to the right foot. Going to have a go, and he never got around the ball. And we'll have the embarrassing moment of having a shot go out for a throw-in.
Yeah, he does well to cut to the inside and create a little bit of space for himself, but you're right, he ends up taking an off-balance shot that winds up going out for a throw-in. Never good. He'll hear about that one in the locker room later on.
Brandon Barklage at right back under pressure, and a foul whistled against New England. That'll be a free kick for New York. 88th minute, 3 minutes and change to go here. DeGao saw the run late and had his pass picked off. Toha goes the other way for New England. Jesic calling for it. Toha feeds him, stayed on side. Jesic fires, scores for New England. The Australian trialist gets one in, and New England goes up 3-1. That ought to seal it for the Revolution.
Jesic did well. It looked like it was a tight call on the offside, but he did well. A great counterattack from the Revolution as they broke out. Juan Toha getting the ball and doing everything right, waiting for the midfielders, waiting for the defenders, to move in the right directions. Jesic doing the good thing on the run, on the outside, on the right side, keeping the angle open for the pass, and that's the key for him in that situation.
He's a guy, again, with a lot to prove, and here's his chance at the top of the box.
A nice first touch. It gets a little away from him, which is why I'm actually going to say that I think Ian Joyce should have done better on the save. Needs to get down there a little faster. Yesic doesn't hit it with a tremendous amount of power because it goes so wide, so he has to curl for the shot.
Yeah, that
Joyce
first
needs to do better.
I'm with you. The first touch getting away from him was not the ideal setup to the play, and as a trialist, it's always good to get your name on the score sheet with a goal, but that's one where Jay Heaps may feel he could have taken it a little better, which is kind of harsh to say. Rafinha in the corner against Duckett. Caldwell got in there and ended up giving it away. Bustamante's touch into the box. Broken up by Dorman. Bustamante, neat moves to get the cross in, but overhit it a little bit at the back post.
Did well to create space for the cross to go in, but
another New York player we haven't seen is Ian Christensen, who's a little nicked up at the moment.
it's too bad. I was actually looking forward to seeing him. I think he's a good player. I think he reminds me a little bit of Andy Rose, player for Seattle Sounders, who came in the first game that we showed here.
When I asked Dax McCarty for a breakout player, Ian Christensen was one that he mentioned.
Really?
And he said, I hope he doesn't break out too much because he'd be getting minutes at my position. But if he does get minutes, I think he's a good player. '90th minute now. Might get a minute or two of stoppage due to the mass substitutions. That one headed on by Horth, but handled there by Ian Joyce. Holgerson out of the back with New England leading New York 3-1. Stoppage time now. Ricardo Salazar looks at his watch. And there's the full-time whistle. New England with a big second half. 3 goals in the final 45 minutes. Gets its first win of the tournament. The Revolution 1-1. New York drops to 0-1-1, tied with Real Salt Lake. And New England can book a spot in the final, which should, I believe, a win or a tie on Wednesday. Definitely a win would get them in. And I believe a tie would as well. We'll go over all those scenarios as the week goes on. But New York wins it here. I beg your pardon. New England wins it here 3-1. Greg, what made the second half so successful for Jay Heaps' club?
Well, I think that they started to, they shorted up a little bit in the defense, and they sort of slowed the game down and started to move the ball around the back line, so that allowed them to start moving it up into the midfield. I thought that Scott Caldwell did pretty well in the midfield in particular. I liked what he did. And then they started getting some free kicks, and once they had those set pieces and they were whipping them in the box and felt like they were getting some success on them, that's when they started to think about that they could get that confidence up. And obviously, look, Bengtson's goal, great goal, because that's what he does. He gets into that position. As soon as that ball went out to Donnie Smith, and we'll see the replay in a second, he's moving to be where he needs to be to basically to put the ball in when it comes back in.
Game highlights. We start in the first half, and New York got the game's opening goal in the 11th minute. This ball deflects into the middle of the field, but it fell to the right man, Greg.
Yeah, dummy by Thierry Henry, and Juninho coming in late, hammers it into the bottom corner.
In the second half, New England getting back into it. Donnie Smith ripping a shot off the hand of Jamison Olave. That set up a penalty kick, and Lee Win, very cool,
firing it into the back of the net with a chip, as you said.
He fired it. You're a mean man.
Yep. Second goal
Free
for
kick
New England.
Cleared. Donnie Smith plays it back in, and Jerry Benson is in the right spot.
He sure is. And after the ball was cleared, Benson actually curled around to get to that spot where he's able to put the header away.
Leading 2-1. New England made it 3-1 on the counterattack. Juan Toja feeding Yesic, the Australian trialist, and he got enough of this one to get it by Ian Joyce, and that wrapped it up. New England 3 and New York 1. Again, goals from Lee Win, Jerry Benson, and Marco Yesic.
I think that both coaches will actually walk away pretty happy with what they saw in this one. New York, obviously, when they had all their big boys in the first half, they were flowing with a very nice rhythm and a nice ability to control the possession, control the flow of play. On the second half, though, New England showed some fight back, and that's what Jay Heaps needs a little bit more of in 2013 that he didn't necessarily have last year. He actually talked about it this week. He said, We went and got a bunch of good players, and we got a lot of skillful players, but we didn't have the fight. This is the kind of game where they started to fight back a little bit, started a little bit more muscle on the defense, and then they came back and got the win.
New England wins it 3-1. That'll do it for our second day of coverage from Tucson. Greg, it's been a pleasure. Safe travels. I know you're out of town before our next set of games.
I am. Yep.
And Greg will be back in New York and all over working with the March to Soccer and, of course, MLSsoccer.com. For our entire crew, thanks for watching tonight. The final score, New England 3, New York 1. For Greg Lawless, I'm Jonathan Yardley. Good night from Tucson. The Revs win it 3-1.